There have been thousands of years of recorded history full of incredible stories. However, many of the most entertaining anecdotes may never have happened at all. Often, these stories began circulating long after the people involved were dead, meant to emphasize certain character traits. Some stories even used fictional people to illustrate the point the storyteller wanted to convey. Today, we're diving into some of the most famous and memorable tales from throughout history that may or may not have actually transpired. George Washington and the Cherry Tree. When George Washington was a child, he supposedly chopped down his father's favorite cherry tree. When confronted, young George admitted, "I cannot tell a lie." Rather than being punished, Washington was praised for his honesty. This story, often told to emphasize his integrity, was invented by Mason Weems in a biography published after Washington's death. George Washington and the Silver Dollar. Another famous Washington tale recounts him throwing a silver dollar across a river, demonstrating his strength. However, silver dollars didn't exist in his youth, and the Potomac River, where this supposedly occurred, is far too wide. The story likely stemmed from an exaggeration about Washington throwing a stone across a narrower river near his home. Nero and the Great Fire of Rome. It's often said that Emperor Nero fiddled while Rome burned. Though Nero did prioritize his artistic pursuits over the welfare of the people, historical accounts place him 35 miles away when the fire started. He even rushed back to Rome to coordinate relief efforts. The fiddle story may have been an embellishment designed to emphasize his indifference. Zeno's paradoxes. The Greek philosopher Zeno proposed that motion was impossible, suggesting that a runner must complete an infinite number of tasks before reaching the finish line. According to a tale, Diogenes the Cynic disproved this theory by simply standing up and walking around, although this story likely never happened, as Zeno and Diogenes lived centuries apart. Diogenes and Plato's definition of a man. When Plato defined man as a featherless biped, Diogenes allegedly plucked a chicken, held it up and said, "Behold, a man." This story, while widely told, probably never occurred. It highlights Diogenes' reputation for poking fun at the philosophical elite. The Judgment of Solomon. In the famous biblical story, King Solomon threatened to cut a disputed baby in half, revealing the true mother. While this story appears in the Bible, scholars believe it was likely just a tale to demonstrate Solomon's wisdom, rather than an actual historical event. Albert Einstein failed math. It's often said that Albert Einstein struggled with mathematics as a child. In reality, Einstein excelled in math from a young age, mastering calculus by age 15. The myth may have originated from a mistranslation of his academic records. Julius Caesar's last words. The famous line, "Et tu, Brute," from Shakespeare's Julius Caesar has become synonymous with betrayal. However, there's no historical evidence that Caesar ever uttered these words. In fact, historians debate whether Caesar said anything at all during his assassination. Benjamin Franklin's kite experiment. Franklin's famous kite experiment supposedly involved a lightning strike, leading to the discovery of electricity. While Franklin did describe an experiment with a kite and key, it's unlikely lightning ever struck the key directly. If it had, Franklin would have been electrocuted. Cleopatra's Pearl. It's said that Cleopatra dissolved a pearl in vinegar and drank it to demonstrate her indifference to wealth. While this story has been debated for centuries, some recent studies suggest it's chemically possible for vinegar to dissolve a pearl, making the story plausible. The Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is infamous for its mysterious disappearances of ships and planes. However, there's no evidence that the area is any more dangerous than other heavily trafficked parts of the ocean. Many of the disappearances were likely exaggerated or fabricated,